Hey everybody, welcome to a very exciting episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and we have with us a very, at least in my opinion, renowned actress. She's been in tons of stuff. We have Miss Aimee Lynn Chadwick. How are you doing today?
I am doing excellent. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited.
Excited too. Thank you so much for reaching out and having me.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've been a fan of yours since a motocross kid.
What?
Yeah,
Really? With the
I,
monkey?
yep. I've seen pretty much everything.
Blast from the past. I mean, that was a hit. Like, not a hit, but you know what I mean. There was like Lorenzo Lamas was in there. What's the other guy? I can't think of his name.
I'll give it to you in 1 second.
Right?
I'm not good with names unless they're
hmm
doing stuff now. So
It was,
Lorenzo Lamas, Alana Austin, Dan Haggerty.
no.
No? Okay, give me one
Oh, no,
second.
he's good.
It's my phone's acting left now.
Usually.
Anyhow, my wife's not down here to fix it. Uh,
What's your wife's name, if you don't mind me asking?
Lauren.
Lauren. Lauren
Yeah.
the savior.
Oh yeah.
Lauren the go-to. Thank you, Lauren.
Josh Hutcherson.
hmm
Yeah.
Not him. That's
Uh,
Gary Busey.
oh, okay.
He was in it.
Yep. Yep.
And
uh,
the chimpanzee, which I got to hold, and it was like a little baby. And I love animals so much, and I always wanted a monkey. I would never now, but that was a really great experience.
oh yeah. You've been in a lot of stuff, which is awesome because I mean, being in the entertainment world, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Uh, so you started at a quite a young age, you know. So what really got you into wanting to be in film and just as an actress?
Yeah. Well, so I am inherently like painfully shy as a human being. My sister always told me, fake it till you make it. But my sister was a world-class gymnast, and I was always going to her meets, and I would just sit in the back seat and make little characters with, I don't know, whatever I had, socks, or like those little socks that you get when you go to a shoe store. Why am I telling you this story? But I would like, I would take like them out of the box and I would like make little people. And so when I would be at the gymnastics meet, I'd hide under the bleachers and like do that. And then one day, I told my mom, I want to audition for this play. And she's like, A, you're basically mute. And B, like, you have to sing in front of like 600 people. And I was like, just take me to the audition. And then I did it. And then I got Annie. I got to be in the play Annie. I was one of the orphans. But after that, my mom was like, oh. And so then she really, tried to look around. I'm from Cape Cod. So I'm from like a small little town. So there was dance classes. And my dance teacher really helped with that because she got me into talent competitions, which got me an agent in New York. And so then I got to get the taste of auditioning. And I always wanted, and then I would do theater and I wanted to be famous so bad. But then I'm so grateful that I was never like a famous child star, even though I really wanted to be, because I was able to like experience life and I don't know. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I've always wanted to tell stories.
Oh yeah.
Did
Uh,
I go off on a tangent? Does that answer your question?
yes, it does. uh, like I said, I've been a big fan pretty much from the get-go. Like I've seen quite a few. Actually, I've seen a lot of your filmography. I'm a fan. Uh, I even seen a Cinderella story, which is typically not my type of movie, but you
But it's
know,
not animated. I watched
that's
Dusty and Athena's and I was like, you don't like cartoons.
yeah, that's true. But I
But I
have a
do
deal with my wife.
regarding that, not to take you off track. I have homework. Watch Tomala 2020, 2021. I'll send it to you. I think
All
you'll
right,
like it.
all right. So kind of walk us through your first time being on set and just like what was your first reaction?
Um, so being first time being on a set, I guess I'll do LA set because it's very different. So when I did a few things on the East Coast when I was younger, um, some of them you never came to fruition or no one's ever seen because it was like local stuff. Um, but I guess my first initial reaction was, oh, this is what home feels like. Like it just felt so, I felt comfortable. I felt like in my element. I loved to see what the lighting people were doing and like learning about lighting is it's I find it fascinating. I just found it really exciting and that there's so many aspects of putting something together. And yes, there's a lot of sitting and waiting, but for me, instead of hiding out and sitting in my trailer being like, um, I I don't know, I made friends with people and Um, if it had to do with like special effects, like I would watch them and just kind of take in everything that I could. I loved it from the second I was on a set. Yeah.
Uh,
Greatest
uh,
feeling.
yeah, I mean, you run the gamut of movies. You've been in TV shows. I mean, Drake and Josh. You've been in you've been in some horror movies. So is there a specific genre that kind of like draws your interest the most, or do you just like it all?
Um, I do like it all. Yeah, I like it all. Just because I like to just play around in like a whole, you know, spectrum of characters. And I feel like that's what acting is about, is being able to switch it around and, one day be someone really scary or psycho. And then the next, being like silly, like my web series. Like, yeah, I love being serious. I love being funny. I like making people laugh. So I don't know if I have a favorite, and that's a boring answer.
Trust me, it's not a boring answer. There's a lot of people out there who wouldn't choose a favorite, but I mean that's more respectable because at the end of the day, it's like you love it all, and
Yeah, and I don't want to like single myself out. Like, and I'm always up to try even anything, like new things. But I do think that one day I want to have like my own show, like Carol Burnett show, like a little variety show.
oh yeah,
And then I can do it all with music and all of that. So,
that would be awesome. I'd
oh,
watch it. Uh, so let's take it there. There's a certain character where I first saw you. Uh,
mhm.
that character is Becky.
Oh my God. Yes,
Yeah. Uh, you played her on two different occasions, which, in my opinion, I love the franchise. So let's talk
I
about
as well.
uh, let's talk about Return of the Living Dead Necropolis and Return of the Living Dead Rave to the Grave.
Yes.
Okay.
So those two movies, we have to rewind like I used to fall asleep to Return of the Living Dead, the original.
Oh
Love
yeah.
like I loved the pain. Like I love the movie. I don't know why it was comforting to me, but it was. Um, and so a couple months before I booked that, I was filming alongside like we filmed Motocross Kids, but at the same time I was filming this TV show that was supposed to be on Nickelodeon called Dirt, where I would follow the Supercross around and interview them as my character in Motocross Kids. Um, and it was great. We got to Pontiac, Michigan, and I they're like, "Oh, Aimee, it'd be really cool if in the middle of the Supercross race you got on a 50cc and, you know, like just wrote and said, "Hey, this is, Aimee and I forget. Um, we're with motocross kids or whatever, just do the tag." And then I was like, "Okay." So like, "Okay," because in LA you don't say no because 9,000 other people will say yes. And so I did it and I did it again. And then I don't know how to ride a motocross bike. And I think I weighed like 17 pounds soaking wet. And those boots are really heavy. And then a rock came flying out and it like hit the wheel and I went full
Ooh.
throttle. And my boot flew back and I broke my pelvis in three places in front of
Uh,
80,000 people. And they cut my pants off. To make matters awesomer, I was supposed to like sign a record deal the next day with Jay-Z. Um, Needless to say, everything in my life halted.
yeah.
And I was bedridden. They're like, we don't know if you can walk again. And I laid in bed and I was like, I can't do this. And then my agent had called me and said, I was like praying to anything that would listen, anyone. And he's like, how are you feeling? He's like, this audition came up. And I was like, for what? And he's like, Return of the Living Dead. I was like, what? This is my prayer. I have to do it. And he's like, you can't, like, Aimee, you can't walk. And I was like, when is it? It was, I think, in like 4 or 5 days. So I was like, no, I'm actually really good. Like, I'm better. I'll walk. And so I, like, psyched myself up, told my friend, like, you have to take me with my crutches. And when I get to the door, I had to just teach myself to walk 3 feet till I get into the chair in the audition room. And so, which was silly, but he brought me and I remember bringing my, Texas Chainsaw Massacre lunchbox, which I have right here. And I had pictures, like Polaroid pictures of myself as a zombie that because I was like, I love zombies. Like, I need to be in this movie. And so I walk in and they're like, oh, is that your zombie walk? I was like, yeah, it's my zombie walk. Tell them you can't walk. And so I went in, I did my audition, and then they were like, okay, that was April 4th. And they're like, you're going to Romania in a couple weeks. So I had a couple weeks. My mom flew out, my sister, and they tried to get me prepared, get a passport, get cleared by the doctor. And I got to Amsterdam because I was in a wheelchair up until this point. I got to Amsterdam and I left my crutches like at the airport and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And then I got there and it was just like, how am I here? How did I manifest being in Return of the Living Dead? I was so excited. It was literally the most exciting booking I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah. Well, see, this is kind of a surreal moment because I do like Return of the Living Dead to me. Well, if you've seen the Dusty episode, Return of the Dead to me is
I
like,
was watching it today, but
yeah, it's like the end all be all of zombie movies to me.
it really is for me too. And I didn't hear you say that part. It
Uh,
really,
yeah, it's so this is surreal for me because I'm trying not to fanboy out if you get what I'm saying.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
you know what I fanboy girl out like about everything. So fan away.
well,
We'll
see,
get together.
the thing is like your character Becky. At first, albeit sweet and innocent, and then kind of toward the end, she became a total badass.
Yes. Much.
And that was awesome. So,
Yeah.
what was it like holding that flamethrower?
Terrifying. And I'll tell you why. I guess enough time has passed where, codes and laws, like that was a bit ago. Um, a couple days prior, or maybe it was the day prior, I feel like, and please, maybe I've gotten names wrong, but I feel like Wesley Snipes was filming something like nearby. It was some actor filming something nearby, and they were using something similar and it blew up in their face.
Ooh,
And so And mind you, we're in Romania. We have, you know, time crunches. We haven't slept. Like, we're in a third world country at this point. And so I have this flamethrower, and they're like, get closer, get closer. And I was like, I'm gonna burn these poor extras' faces off. Like, it was exhilarating, no. But as long as I knew everyone was safe, and I just didn't want to like blow my face up. But
Oh yeah,
I really loved it.
no yeah. So your character Becky was that like the way you played her? What drew your inspiration, or was that just strictly you having fun?
Oh, um, well, there's always fun, even if it's a scare, like a sad role. I'm trying to recall because that was quite a bit ago.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. What was my inspiration, you said? Or was I
yeah.
just fun? My inspiration was who is this girl, usually. I usually, for me, like my process is no one will ever see this, but I'll just write down like that person's life and, what's her favorite thing to eat for breakfast? What was the one thing that her grandmother said before she died that she'll never forget? Like these little things that kind of no one will know, but it kind of formulates how this character is and hopefully gives it an element of being real, Like she's a real character, like she has depth. Um, I will say with Return of the Living Dead, it kind of got a little messed up and it kind of got the shaft because William Butler wrote an incredible script, which was an amazing um, tribute to the original. And things happened on that set that were out of people's control. People got hurt, people got sick, and we had to stop production. So we filmed 4 and 5 back to back, but not in order. So a lot of, the feedback was, this doesn't make sense. This is a horrible movie. It doesn't make sense because we filmed it back to back. Certain characters couldn't come back as their character because they weren't able to return to do the second movie. So we had to recast it. We had to shut down production for quite a bit. And then I basically turned Romanian because I was there for so long. Um, yeah, I'm going on a tangent. Just
Hey,
reel me in whenever you can and throw things.
you're good. I mean, the not everything can be sunshines and rainbows,
No.
And I mean, this makes people understand, like, yeah, you're seeing an awesome movie, and in my opinion, both of them were awesome. And you,
No, I think in the original, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think I actually turn into a zombie in the second one, but like we had to do something. If I'm remembering it correctly, and I am obsessed with special effects, and I learned like I got to learn from like the most incredible people, like the brilliant late John Volich. I could cry thinking about him. Greg Funk. I got to sit in that trailer and they talked through like everything they were doing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I wanted to turn into a zombie so badly. And so I was so excited when, you know, I got to do that. Yeah. So good things did come out of the chaos that happened on that set.
yeah. Well, I will let you know. I have them here somewhere. I do own them. They're down there somewhere. Yep, they're down there somewhere, but I do own them.
I believe
Uh,
you.
my wife, not a big horror fan, not at all. But she's like the only characters that she really liked out of those was your character and the main star's character. But she liked the movies as a whole because I kind of made a deal with her. If she watched those, I watched some Disney with her, which we did. Well, we don't talk about the Disney, but me personally, I loved your portrayal of Becky in both the first in Necropolis and Rave to the Grave, and it's to me because you started out as this innocent girl and then they went all the way to badassery to all the way to now you're a full fledged zombie. I was like, dude, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah. My
So
favorite part was, and I was so excited to do it, is when she was like, "Hi, Julian," like and like flips over the car or gets hit or flips over the car with the bike. I was so excited to do that. I don't know why, because I think it's so stupid. Because she's so like, I don't know, there's an innocence to her where, yeah. And then another thing was like driving. I really had to do that. And running, if please don't go back and watch me run because I couldn't run. Like I was terrified. Oh, and then guess what they want me to get on? A motocross bike. And
yeah,
I was like, I'm I don't know. So one of the stunt doubles was like I kind of like whispered to him like look and they had a stunt double and he was this big Russian man, Romanian man. Um he had a wig on and he put my jacket on and he like rode the bike for me. So that
that's
was the
awesome.
only stunt I didn't do.
All right. I have to say though, like the when it showed all the characters riding the bikes together and the song "I Stand Alone" comes on, I don't picture any other song that could have been like right there because it was to me the way I took away from the characters was is or what I took away from the characters was is each of them are on their own path, you know.
Hmm.
So it's like "I Stand Alone" was the perfect song to come on at that specific time.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
then William wrote the line, which I still use to this day, lead, follow, or get out of the way, which I
Yeah.
love.
So let's kind of go forward a little bit.
Sure.
You let's let's fast forward to when you met Dusty.
Mm,
Because you guys seem to be very fond of each other, which is awesome. Because when people of like same industry but don't know each other come together, to me that's awesome. So kind of walk us through the first time you met Dusty.
okay. I don't know. Um, it was online. Um, and I honestly can't remember. I just feel like Dusty has just always been there, if that makes sense. I
Oh yeah.
know you chat with people or like you have friends on social media and then you're talking to them and you're like, oh, like I don't know, you kind of just like mesh and you don't really think about what the exact moment was or you know, I don't know. I just know we kind of like clicked and just talked and she had asked me if I could if I wanted to do um what is it? The haunted world of the haunted world. Yeah. I can't even, my brain is crazy. Yeah, she asked me if I wanted to do that, and I was like, heck yeah,
Oh yeah.
because Dusty, I think, saw me on my web series. I don't know like how we met. I don't. All I know is I adore her. I adore Athena, and yeah, so I started filming um parts for them, and they would send me script, and I became that character in their web series.
All right.
It was so
uh you were also all right. So my wife doesn't love horror movies
mm.
until she loves horror movies, which makes no sense, but whatever. She absolutely loved Laid to Rest Part One and Two, and
Oh,
you were in Crone's Skull Laid to Rest too. You played Allie.
so
Uh,
she's horror.
yeah, yeah. So like that and The Collector are her favorite franchises outside of like Hocus Pocus and all that other stuff. But can you kind of walk us through what it was like being on a set for Crumb Skull? And I mean that has some pretty heavy hitters in it, and yourself included. You trust me when I say heavy hitters, you're a heavy hitter. You know,
Thank you.
you're
Uh,
welcome.
yeah, I it makes me sad thinking about that because we no longer have Rob. I yeah, that is another set where I like was just fascinated by the talent of just putting together a horror movie with kills like that. I had such a gruesome kill, and I was so excited. Initially, I had tried out for I think uh, the lead part, um, but it couldn't have gone to a better girl. The audition process was okay. You're like literally in a grave, like you're. And I just remember like normally I can snap out of a character really quickly, but I was traumatized in that. Anyway, I was so excited that I had this kill, and I can tell a little bit about that. Um, Eric Porn was doing all the special effects for that, I believe. And they put a prosthetic on the side of my head, like all like this. And it took probably 4 hours. And then when I got to set, they were like, it's lopsided. So then we had to like take it all off and put it all over again.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I just remember being like soaked in all of the blood and being so happy about it. And then it was so late at night and I was in LA and I was driving home at like 3:30 in the morning and I just have like blood all over me. And I'm at a red light and a cop like stops at the red light next to me and he looks at me and I was like, and he's like, only in LA, right? Like he thought nothing of it. I have like blood everywhere. Yeah, that was that was a really, really great time. I really admire those people and it just makes me sad that more can't come out of, you know, Robert's brilliant mind because he was a really, really talented human being.
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the Beast of Walton Street. You play Gloria Fitz.
Oh, yes. Gloria, who is from the Haunted Worlds.
Yeah.
Yes, CW. Uh, yeah, that was just another thing where Dusty sent me the script of my part and I filmed it like right here in this little room. And I'm not doing it. It's kind of weird because I don't know what the rest of the thing looks like. All I know is this page or these pages that I'm given, and then I just film them and send it back.
Uh,
And but like that's so cool because through that, like doing those things, um, we've developed such a incredible bond and friendship and working relationship and yeah.
uh, there's a there's a saying that I was told when I was younger. It's like surround yourself around those who know you,
Hmm.
and it kind of seems like right off the bat, you and Dusty and Athena all just felt that connection, and that's awesome.
Yeah. But isn't it interesting? Like you can surround yourself with people who know you, but how do you know or when do you know that they know you?
That's see now you're talking the language that I never knew. Yeah,
Right. So what was great about that is I do try to, I always think of you are what you eat, you know? So you are essentially like who you surround yourself with. And so I really do try to surround myself with people who, I aspire to be, some people who can teach you something or um, people who are aligned with like your passions and stuff like that. So I was very lucky that the universe gave us to each other.
Oh yeah.
Very.
Oh yeah. So kind of walk us through where you are right now. Are you kind of you're eager to kind of like just keep going, or do you are you in a time right now where it's like self-reflect and kind of just taking a step back a little bit?
No. I took a step back for a little bit. In 2017, I got my dream role to play Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors. Uh, so I was kind of like, I got this part, and it was going to be in Utah, and it was a live show. Um, and I got that opportunity to play this part I've always wanted to play on this beautiful stage in Park City. And so I needed a little break from LA because I was there for so long. I kept being pushed into these roles for like, oops, 17-year-old teenagers. And I just felt like I needed to not be in a bubble anymore and talk like this. Like you start to be protected there. It is a small little pond. And I'm like, well, where is life? Like I need to experience something other than this, because all I'm going to be able to bring to my characters is just this, right? And so I decided, okay, I'm going to take a break and moved to Utah, got married in a castle in Scotland, and just started to build like a different and try out different things here where it's not on such a big arena. So there's a big film and TV. I mean, not as big as LA, but there is film and TV stuff here. And so I've been able to play a mom, in which I thought, I don't feel like a mom. I could never do that. But here it kind of helped me try it out where it wasn't so like the spotlight is on you. You have to do good. You have to be the mom. And it's like, I've never been a mom. I'm a cat mom. And so here I've been able to like actually like work on that and, live a life that's not in LA. It's not like go, 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 which is very difficult for me because I like to go, go, go. But I've learned a lot and I've, I've put a lot in my invisible backpack, which I coach kids sometimes acting, and I always tell them like the things that you collect in life, you throw them in your invisible backpack. You don't have to carry them. Like they're in there. There's no weight. And so that way, when a role comes along, you're able to pull those things out and use them. So in order to do that, you need to experience life. So I have been sitting back and doing that. And now I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to, you know, do more and step more out into the arena, which sometimes scares me because, like I said at the beginning, like I am inherently shy. I'm private until you know me, and then I'm really loud and silly and annoying.
Well, we all could be a little bit of those things. Well, my wife says I'm always annoying, but I think that's
In
like
a
her
good way.
job. Yeah. So getting in the industry at a young age, what advice would you give to anybody at any age that's trying to get into the industry? What advice would you give them?
Um, mhm. I've thought about this for a long time. Definitely do theater. I would say do local theater. Um, Definitely make sure your parents are not only 100% supportive, but do not leave you with people. Um, don't trust anyone, unfortunately. And don't rush it. I know for me, like I wanted it. I would sit home and just start crying and be like, I can't go to school today. I'm too depressed. My mom's like, what's wrong with you? Like, why? I'm like, because I'm not like doing what I need to be doing. But that saved me from a lot of things, like not doing that. I I know what happens in that industry, and I don't think children, and I hate saying this because I know how bad I wanted it, and I know I just, unless you have parents who are like, sorry, Taylor Swift's parents, where they're with her. She's
Oh yeah,
35 years old and they are at every single concert, making sure that nobody like steps their bounds on her, well-being, mental health, her safety. As long as you have that, believe in yourself and go for it. Other than that, like just wait until the timing is right.
oh yeah. So if you can go back and tell 10-year-old you something you know now that you didn't know then, what would that be?
10-year-old me. Um, that you're not a weirdo. Or that you are a weirdo, but it's actually your superpower.
Uh,
And and like it's okay. Like, yeah, it's okay to be a positive potato. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. And don't let people stifle that. Like my whole thing, like my whole entire life is I have this weird, insatiable need to just light people up. But 10-year-old me would people would take that the wrong way or they would think it was weird or make fun of it. And then I started to just dim that.
yeah,
So I felt comfortable. And I think that's really sad in life. Like I just don't think I think there's like a candle wick for all of us. Like it's okay. Like me lighting you up is not going to dim me any.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I would just remind her that it's okay to be a positive weirdo.
All right. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, my one of my wife's favorite movies. I say she don't like horror, but yet I'm naming all the horror movies she watches. But
You are.
uh, she loves The Craft.
Oh, so do I.
And like people look at her weird and she'll just be like, "We are the weirdos," and I'm like, but you know,
Yes.
it's crazy, but there's nothing wrong with that. So you
The
know,
Craft. So I remember being in high school and there was like Sally Jesse Raphael. Do you remember that?
yep,
I remember staying home just so we could watch like Sally Jesse or like I'm like, "Ugh, I'm sick." But they would always do talented kids. And so there was one where it was like do a scene, like if you want to be an actor, like send in a scene on a VHS or if you and so I went to my best friend's house and we were always creative over there. And they helped me film a scene from Scream. Oh, it's not The Craft, but I loved Nicole.
all right,
And so I was like, I want to do that scene, like, but I did the Drew Barrymore scene. And fast forward in life, I end up being friends with Nev Campbell in life. And I was like, whoa, kind of cool.
all right. That's awesome though. Like this is gonna kind of date me, but I'm old anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Say one thing.
Huh.
I always tell people I don't subscribe to this timeline. So just say that because once you call yourself old, then you are, right?
Yeah.
So just don't subscribe. You're not old. Because if
All right.
you're old, I'm old, and I'm not old.
Well, then I'm a non-subscriber.
Thank you. I'm like,
I I've loved Nev Campbell since Party of Five.
I love her. She's the kindest, sweetest, most talented, beautiful soul I've ever met, and I mean that.
Yeah. I have not been lucky enough to meet her. One day maybe. But no, so you got some projects coming up. Is there anything you're really looking forward to that's coming out in the future?
Um, that I can speak of? Yes. Well, yes. So I filmed part of it. I got to work with in June, I got to work with Kevin Costner,
Oh,
which was beyond. I don't know if you're familiar. He's made these Horizon movies.
hmm.
Um, and he shot them in Utah. And so they did one, and then they had shot two, and then they wanted to do an ending scene where they introduced some of the characters for part three. Um, and so it was like I was at my neighbor's house or something, and it was like 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, and I had forgotten I had sent in this audition that I wasn't going to send in. And I got a call, and they're like, "Yeah, like Kevin picked you." And I was like, "What? No way." And so then I got to like shoot one scene, and I show up, and I'm like, I'll go introduce myself and thank him. And I was like, "Hi, He's like, "I know who you are. I cast you." And I was like, "What is going on in my life?" And he is literally my favorite director so far ever. I think he has the same passion of just creating the world that I do. And so it was so good. And it was just one day that we filmed because we were just doing an establishing of the character scene. So I'm really excited to get back to set and shoot part three of the movie.
All right.
And hopefully part four, fingers crossed.
All
But
right.
yeah.
Believe it or not, so that's a movie like the first one. I had no idea what it was about or
Mm.
anything like that, but I've always been a Kevin Costner fan since his, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves days. But the
Field
funny
of
thing
Dreams,
is,
man, Field of Dreams.
oh yeah, well, Field of Dreams, I mean, has he really done a bad movie?
No.
Field of Dreams was good, but when I think of Field of Dreams, it's yeah, Kevin Costner was excellent in that. James Earl Jones, Ray
Yes.
Liotta. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, dang, I actually met Ray Liotta. So he because I live here in Michigan, I was working at the drive-in in Dearborn, and he was here filming something, and he pulls in, and I'm just standing there. I'm like, what movie? Then I turn around and he's sitting right there. I was like, I'm not gonna fanboy out right now. I've seen Goodfellas. Long story short, I'm like, what movie would you like to see? And he told me, and it was him, his wife, and his kid. And I remember distinctively, he goes, "You're a fan, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, how can you tell?" He goes, "Well, you're kind of beat red like an apple." I was like, "Oh." He goes, "Here you go." And he signed a copy of Goodfellas and gave it to me. And I'm like, "You carry Goodfellas copies with you just to sign them?" He's like, "No, I just had one with me." I was like, "Oh, okay. You can go see your movie for free." So,
Free.
but sorry, I went on a tangent. I'm sorry.
If you ever apologize again in my presence, do you know how many tangents I go on? This whole thing is a tangent.
It's all good.
That's
This
where
is
you
your
get.
show. I'm just hosting it. This is your show.
I love that story. That's really nice of him. And that was good of you because you don't want to like fan out on people, right? And
Yeah.
then it's a little lesson. It's like, oh, when you act normal, they're like, oh, yeah. So,
All right. Yeah, it's surreal sometimes. Like I see people such as yourself and all these other actors and actresses on screen, and I'm like, when I was a little kid, I was like, dang, I want to do that, but I never had the courage to get up and do it. I mean, I'm getting the courage now. Here I am.
I this gave me anxiety all day long.
Oh,
Actually, all week long. And if you ask other people that have asked me to do podcasts, and I'm like, yes, I want to do it. And then I'm like, oh, I have something. Something came up. Something. I'm sick. And it's not that I don't want to. It's because I'm like so shy and I have like anxiety about it. And so the fact that you're doing this is amazing. Like, I love it.
I appreciate that.
Feel good about yourself.
Yeah. Well, I know that again. I can only go with the advice I was given. The advice I was always given is if you want to put yourself out there, do it. People can either accept you or not.
Hmm.
So it's just too bad it's later in life, but whatever.
Hey, guess what? We
Hmm,
all have our own timelines.
that's right. That's right.
I'll
I'm gonna
say
steal
this
that from you.
debut. I am working on my next record, but the title of it is Late Bloomer.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't tell people that, but I will because we'll copyright it right here. Um, because yeah, I'm a late bloomer and
All right.
I'm gonna take my time because my path, I'm I go off on little windy side quests.
All
And
right.
eventually, I'm sure you do the same, like, but eventually it leads us to where we're supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that journey is what it's about. It's not about getting the carrot.
Very true. Uh, I want to take a moment and kind of acknowledge the fact that, like I said, this was a surreal moment, because Return of the Living Dead being my favorite franchise of all time, next to Halloween, like both those, I'm there. But there was, like, I love the original. I loved all the Return of the Living Deads.
Hmm.
There's only two characters that ever stood out to me, one being Becky. And it's because I saw the full, you know, innocence to you becoming a crazy zombie and killing people, which was awesome.
I know it's
but
fun.
oh yeah, but the getting to talk to you has been an honor and a privilege for me.
Like, well,
So, but it's I don't know, people like you. They it's rare that you guys are humble, and I mean, there's a lot of humble people out there, but it seems to me like you've really got it together, and I it's mad respect for you.
I have mad respect for you, and thank you for saying that. You give me a little goosebumpies. No, I just feel like we all love film, right?
Hmm.
That's why we're here. Well, those of us that love film, that's why we're here. Look at me, look at the cameras that aren't here. Like, ugh. No, but like life is hard. Life is for everyone, and it must be so exhausting to put on this facade of being, you know, too cool, right?
Hmm.
No one has time for that. Like we're all here. And then acting for me, I always look at it as this is a job that I choose. Just like if I choose to waitress or bartend or work at CVS, right? It's a
Hmm.
job and it doesn't make me any different or better or worse than it makes this guy or you or anyone else. We're
Uh,
all just human beings, like doing what we can and what we choose to do. And I choose to do acting as long as people choose to hire me. And I choose to, strive to be the most authentic characters as best as I can in that moment. So
uh,
hopefully we keep getting better and hopefully it resonates with people and
yeah.
people like want to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, we're kind of getting near the end of the show. Uh,
Sure.
I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to sit with me and watch me kind of make an idiot out of myself, which is cool because that's what my wife says. As long as you're having fun, we're all having fun.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? I feel like I think we need to pull one of these for you. This is the positive potato. Next time you think you're making an idiot of yourself. All right, pick a color. Yellow,
uh,
orange, or blue.
we'll go with blue.
All right, blue it is. Let's see what it says.
All right.
Always remember, you have to be odd to be number one. That is so like
That is right on
that is
cue.
like right on our conversation. Okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
Holly. Jar.
I'm gonna definitely take that to heart and take it moving forward. So that's a good thing.
Do
So
it.
Next time you see me, you're gonna see it tattooed right here.
Okay, I need to look at it again. Should I mail it to you?
It's upside
Wait,
down.
it's upside. I'm dyslexic.
No,
Um,
you're good. Always remember to. All right. Plus, I can always go back and watch it.
oh yeah, that's right.
You know. Uh,
Technology.
so I normally end the show, but I'm gonna let you end the show. You can end it any way you want, and then when you're done, I'll just say stay in C-17, unless you want to say stay in C-17.
Okay, so that's a lot of pressure. Um, you want to like, I don't know how you end it. So can, can you like end it and maybe I can help you and then I'll say like what, stay NC-17?
Yep. All right. I want to thank you, Aimee, for coming on. You've been an awesome guest. You've been a true rock star in every sense of the word, and it was an honor and a privilege having you on.
Thank you. Likewise, it's been an honor and privilege to be asked to be here, and I think you're amazing and a rock star, and keep creating things,
Will do.
keep people happy. And do me a favor,
Mhm.
stay NC-17. What?
Awesome. All
Boom! Mic drop.
right. See y'all later.
Thank you.